So if I were to say to you, the Scottish play, would you know what I'm talking about? What about MacB or the Bard's play? No? Well, this is Theater Customs. My name's Josiah Frampton. I'm the creator of the show, and today we're going to talk about, and just, if you are in a theater right now, can you just go ahead and mute that phone real quick? Because I'm about to say... I'm sorry. You good? Great. MacBeth. Wait, are we recording right now?
Is this a cab or a Sauvignon Blanc?
Brittany, So, last week we talked a little bit about how actors are some of the most superstitious creatures out there. We get a whiff of one little bad thing that happened one time, and we have to ban that across the communities. So, recently I was in a production where there was an actress who said the M word 3 times backstage, and on that particular production, we had a light crash onto the stage. We had broken glass everywhere. A curtain crashes into it. We have a big old gash in the curtain, and a light projector is drooping like 5 feet below where it's supposed to be, and that was a day that reminded me why being superstitious couldn't hurt.
Thrice
Action.
grind the cat past my own.
Shit.
What the hell is that? Is that a dagger that I see? Oh, man. Can't seem to grasp it.
Don't be afraid to hear it.
Where is it? Oh my.
Know though thou callest thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
Though the play can't be dated precisely, it is widely believed that it was written between 1605 and 1610. It's seen to celebrate King James's ancestors, the Stuarts' ascension to the throne. In the play, there are these 3 witches, and they represent darkness, chaos, and conflict, and they defy logic. They're not subject to the rules of the real world. Those who believe that this play is cursed claim that it's the spells that these 3 witches cast, because they believe that these spells are real. King James had a history with witches. You see, in James's youth, he was fascinated by witchcraft, and that fascination turned sour because by 1590, he'd been in a big shipwreck, and he was sure that he was plotted against by witches, that it was a magical storm. So by the time he was kinged in 1603, he proclaimed a new law, enacting the death penalty on any witch who caused harm by use of witchcraft. Now, this play that was written, it celebrated his ascension to the throne. It's cursed by witches. Confusion surrounds this play as the only surviving transcript is from the first folio of 1623, which is 7 years after Shakespeare's death. In it, there are references to 2 songs. There's no lyrics provided. The 2 songs were written by a different author as well, and they were written well after the bard had passed. And there are other discrepancies as well, most notably the inclusion of another character, Hecate, a Greek god. Many scholars believe that that god wasn't in the early productions. But since we have no early versions of the play to compare, we can only speculate what was in Shakespeare's original. The theory goes like this. Shakespeare knew King James's feelings towards witches, and therefore knew that they would make perfect foils. However, seeing as he knew nothing about witch culture or their spells, he decided to consult real witches. And out of that consultation, he walked away with partial incantations, real incantations. And once a local coven of witches heard what he'd been given, they sought him out and they begged him to rewrite the curses. He was told that failure to do so would result in a cursed production and eventually even his death. Shakespeare, of course, did rewrite the incantations, but the initial curse still inhabits the production, so the name of the show can't be spoken. When it's produced, it must be produced with real witches in order to counteract the curse, and it can never be performed with the supposedly added character, Hecate. However, all of this, of course, is conjecture, because no one actually knows how this play was written. So the funny thing is that even though this superstition is fully entrenched in the theater community, there are relatively few professional recognized mishaps or injuries attributed to this cursed play. Believers have attributed the curse to problems in the early productions staged by Shakespeare himself. Injuries were sustained by actors in 1937 performance in The Old Vic that starred Laurence Olivier. Deanna Wynard had an accidental fall in 1948. There were burns suffered by Charlton Heston in 1954. In 1980, at The Old Vic, there was a production starring Peter O'Toole, often referred to as MacBeth. It was reviewed so badly that the theater disbanded shortly after the play. So no one really knows what the real history of this play is, and yet it's somehow still regarded as one of the most cursed plays in history. But I think the only reason why it's considered so cursed is because of superstitious actors. So, if you do happen to say the M word in a theater, or if somehow you didn't manage to mute your device in time when you're watching this video, don't worry too much. You can always spit over your left shoulder, spin around 3 times, and say one of the other lines from one of Shakespeare's famous plays, because I hear that works. I mean, it's better safe than sorry, so see you next time. Oh, you're still here. You made it all the way to the end of the video, and then you didn't stop it, so thank you so much. Hey, if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can leave a comment in the section below so we can keep this conversation going. Also, if you like what you've been seeing on this page so far, please consider becoming a patron. You can take a look in the description for my Patreon page details. Every dollar I get there counts. It's how I pay for this kind of stuff that I like to do, and I hope you like as well. So, bye.